Here too, treatment is free, right? Isn't this free? Here as well, treatment is free. In our government hospitals, treatment is free. But we complain that there is no quality in our government hospitals. Yet we ourselves are the ones who ruin that quality.
People living in London or Europe for years still walk around without documents, but once they return and settle here, their behavior changes.
After finishing their meal, the leftover food is immediately taken from the table by people waiting outside to eat it. This is what I'm saying about Europe.
So many homeless people are sleeping on top of Victoria Terminus, lying under tarpaulin sheets.
Yes,
There is a pharmacy over there where you buy medicine, okay? That area is very much highlighted. I have experienced that myself.
if you work for 1 hour here, a daily wage laborer who works 8 hours here gets a salary of 1,100 rupees. If you go to Europe or America, you might get $30 for 1 hour. But don't calculate that rupee in terms of its ratio there. The expenses there are according to that. There, you might have to pay £1.5 for a cup of tea, while here, 10 rupees is enough for a cup of tea. Wherever you go, see the world. After seeing the world, whatever good or positive things you find there, come back and implement those things in your own country.
If those brains who are supposed to lead our state or even our country or lead our political parties go there and end up working as delivery boys at Pizza Hut or as someone washing dishes at KFC or doing similar jobs, then they are just spending their lives there. Are they really living? Yes, they are.
The problem here is that we have media that drive us intensely, making us believe we are in some kind of paradise, even if it's just a patch of green. Right below this video, there is another video that is about to play now. That happened in broad daylight in the UK with everyone watching. They brought in two large cage-like structures, almost like two big hammers. There's another video I can show you. It's footage of two thieves smashing up a jewelry store right in front of everyone's eyes, grabbing as much gold as they can and running away. A group of people enters a jewelry store and robs it in broad daylight. Why did I show you this video? If you ask why people are breaking into a discussion like this nowadays, it's because in our country, our resourceful youth lack social security. It's to have a discussion about the social security situation in the countries where people are migrating to. We have with us Mr. Benny Vazapilli, who has traveled to these countries, done business in many different places, and has journeyed to many locations. Haven't you come across videos like this quite often?
Definitely. And not just this particular video. I've noticed that this video has been circulating widely on all social media platforms for quite some time now. Similarly, I also have a lot of personal experiences related to this. Then, let me share one such experience. So, I was working on a movie, yes, I did a film, and we shot the entire movie in London. For almost all the schedules of the film, my wife and I were there together. We were staying in a place called Croydon, which is a suburb in London. So in Croydon, we were staying at a Pakistani-owned 3-star hotel. Now in the morning, as usual, being Indian, we would have some snacks or maybe a watch or something kept nearby at a certain price. So in the morning, after picking up all that, when we were about to leave for the shooting location, the manager there, he called me and said, "Sir, it is better for you to keep the jewelry in the locker and go." So I asked, what happened? Then I got an entirely different kind of feedback about the UK, or rather about Europe. I wondered what was going on and asked, and he said, "Sir, there are a lot of snatchings around." Hearing that, I took off all those things and kept them aside before heading out. As soon as our signal turned green, a few people came near our car. They placed all these hoodies and then came, locked it, and then locked another one and did something on the door glass. After they finished that, others opened it and then they started handing over all the items they had in their hands. So I asked them, "Why are you handing over these things like this?" They said, "Everybody carries a wallet, right? Out of 12 people, only one person will have a real wallet, and sometimes they might hide it in another wallet." A couple of fake credit cards, a few pounds, all kept together. So when these guys do something like this, if someone takes these items, at least for the time being, you won't be in danger. That's my comment.
That's the whole story, isn't it?
This is the story of the city in London, not the one in Africa. It's the story of the city here.
If you look at it among all this, I am someone who lives in Adur in central Travancore in our hometown. If you go to places like Patanamthitta, Kumbanad, and our own village, you feel a deep sadness. All the young perfect here have gone to Europe. To the UK, to these Western countries, when you see the rush to migrate and make their lives more security, many times you feel a deep sadness. I am someone who went to America for 2 years to do my master's. When I came back from America, have I told at least 1,200 people the same thing? You went to America and came back. Why did you come back? What kind of foolishness is this? But for me, my homeland is the greatest. More than just my love for my homeland, it is also a sense of pride I have about my country. Have you ever really thought about why our youth are migrating to such places? Most of the time, when asked, people say it's about money, that you can earn a bit more money there. But there is a misconception about that here. So, Benik sir, brother, is sitting here. If you ask Benny sir and brother directly, you won't understand. That is, if you go to Europe or America or the US and you get a $5,000 salary, the social design there is such that you can only live by spending that $5,000 there. On the other hand, if you go to the Middle East, if you go to Arab countries and the like, you can work, save up some money, and send it back home. The problem here is that when you go there, it becomes a routine. That is, from morning till evening. Even if you work as hard as you can, the situation for the business community is different. So, why aren't people coming back? That is the information and awareness we want to convey through this video. That is what needs to be explained to globally experienced viewers like Benny Vazapilli.
Within that, GK, to some extent, when I go to take classes on this subject nowadays, I talk about it a lot. In many colleges, when I go to teach, this brain-driven topic is the one that is most frequently discussion in Kerala today. Why are they going there? I have an answer to why they are not coming back. Why do they go? I feel that in our homes, once a child finishes their degree or pre-degree, even if it means mortgaging the house by any means, we push them and get them placed somewhere. Then those who remain here can go around telling others about it. When someone asks, "Where's your son?" they can say, he is in London. Where is your daughter? Like in India, she is in Ireland or she is in America, right? So the people here can proudly walk around saying that. But what is that child or that person who left from here actually doing there? How are they living? They are working very hard and living on a very meager earning. And then after they come here for a vacation in some way from there, that's when it all starts, this 1 month stay, and then the whole event is over. You say you're going back, but why aren't you going? Is there some problem over there? Then, just like I said, after coming to our place, there are a lot of these so-called inferences, and the insurance company people in such situations create an environment where it's not even possible to live. When things get worse than that, you start thinking, no matter what job you do, it's not worth staying there anymore. You start to feel like just staying is enough.
Decision recently, my friend Rio and Manu is a doctor. Rio is someone very close to me, someone I have a brotherly affection for. Rio went to Europe and is now in Paris. There, after having a meal, the leftover food on their table, as soon as they get up from the table, people from outside come in and take it to eat. And that juice too, when we all have juice at a shop, there's never any pulp left at the bottom of the glass. Sometimes when we drink orange juice at home, we might leave some behind, but at shops, we just leave it there. But there, people actually compete to take and drink even that leftover juice. I'm talking about Europeans here.
Victoria Terminal Railway Station is the largest railway station there in London and all. In front of Victoria Terminal Railway Station, while I was sitting there waiting to receive a guest who was coming to meet me, I remember it was -2 degrees Celsius at that time. I think it was somewhere in November or the first week of December. You could see temperatures of -2 to 2 degrees Celsius. In that freezing cold weather, so many homeless people were spreading out their tarpaulins on top of Victoria Terminal.
Lying down and sleeping.
Their food I saw with my own eyes, as they were picking up leftover pizza boxes and burger wrappers that people had thrown away as garbage and eating from them. I saw this with my own eyes.
Because of this, even in America, the number of homeless people is very high. We can see them even in the extreme cold lying on the streets. There are also people who have ended up like this wandering around. Anyway, wherever you go, you can see people struggling and begging to survive. If there is poverty in our country, we tend to highlight that poverty a lot. We never highlight the strengths of our country. Here, there is one strategy that we can always notice, that is in Europe or America, at any marketing stage, they only project the good things. Their newspapers only feature the positives. All this, and especially recently, they emphasize and snatch up every opportunity to talk about the good things. That's what needs to be said now. There's something that hasn't been openly discussed. Not a single student going to study in the UK and it does it out in the open, but rather inside the underground with their phone.
It definitely happens.
If you take out your phone, you'll get caught immediately.
They'll confiscate your phone and you might even forget about it. Right now in my room and during a trip I took to Italy recently, I noticed something. When we board trains and all, I paid special attention, and I can tell you, people hold their bags and passports close to their chest, just like how you'd hold your children close and travel that way. So once we say that, it means it can be snatched away at any moment. Right now, GK is standing next to me. The people who grabbed GK, only GK is responsible for this. There isn't even a single person around to intervene in this. In the interview, in the video where the theft happened, you can see that even though there are people all around, they are just lookers. Not a single person tries to stop anyone. Now, if this were to happen in Kerala,
That would never happen for any reason.
it happens in Kerala. In Kerala, as we just said, the people lying on the street, the people who are starving, we saw this in London. So just like we mentioned, I would never say that we don't have such people in Kerala, but we have a social system that addresses this.
Exists.
In our Kerala and in our India, if there is news that any person is starving, there is a social system in place to immediately address it, whether it is at the government level or not. At the community or organizational level, if it is community organizations, there is a system in place to address such issues.
There are so many organizations, and as I feel, and as I have been saying, if we are unable to pass on the greatness of our land to the new generation, they end up getting trapped. Their perception is that in order to migrate to Europe, America, or other Western countries, they start studying from as early as 8th grade, and after finishing 1+2 or their degree here, they go straight abroad to study further. They jump right into this struggle. If you ask whether this struggle is for their own good, after going through this struggle, many of them are left with the misconception that they will be able to live in a socially secured community. In our country, having mosquitoes is a problem, having lizards is a problem, having snakes is a problem. Don't you get it, G?
Okay, I feel like within this, our visual media and then our print media also play a very terrifying role.
Play a role.
These people, after giving Mohan and others beautiful promises, I often notice that not even a bit of attention sprouts in them. And then these other recruitment enterprise company,
Yeah.
go abroad and study, you will become like this. Banks here are giving loans. Once you go there, you can easily get a job. This is what they say. Every day, if you pick up any major newspaper or turn on any TV channel, the advertisements are overwhelming. People are falling for this. Now, what I am saying is, even for them within this, there is a responsibility here. If only the government thinks about it, or if only our other organizations think about it, that's not enough. Right now, the government is taking a lot of efforts. That is, this brain drain is being addressed to some extent. Similarly, many community organizations like the Catholic Church and similar groups are also doing a lot. And they are the ones who are having the most effect in this matter. What I always say is, for example, our people who go from here to Europe, even if a brilliant brain goes to Europe, what happens? I once said in an interview with Dr. Lalu, even if we don't have to see every job as substandard, we still say that our very best brains, the ones who should be leading our state or our country or leading our political parties, end up going there and working as delivery boys at Pizza Hut. At KFC, then what? People end up doing things like stain sales and car washes, and that's how they spend their lives. Are they living? Yes, they are. But they were the most important brains in our country, in our homeland.
There are people like this, doctors driving taxis in Canada. There are many like that. Engineers too, all of them. No matter how you calculate it, sometimes, honestly, it's a tough blow. Sometimes, only if you go and live in Canada or some other place because of the climate, your skin tone might change a bit, and sometimes you might get a visually appealing look and all that. In our place, are there that many facilities? In our place, public transport, I'm someone who used to live in a door. To go from a door to my house at 9:30 at night, there is only one bus. The Shastam Kota bus at 9, I can go home on that. One person can go to my house for 2 rupees, 5 rupees, or 10 rupees. In the morning at 5:30, when I take the same bus back from my house, I get down at Chenganur. And then I used to go to Ernakulam for work and other things. There was a time like that. Nowhere else in the world is there this much public transport in any country. Even if this public transport is not available in a few isolated places, in 80% of the places in our country, or rather in 80% of the country, we have this. Then the possibilities of our country, the possibilities of our land. The biggest problem is that our guardians are not telling children about security and all these things. Do you know what the biggest problem for guardians is? For elderly guardians, those who are 65 or 70 years old, it is a matter of great pride. Moon is in Ireland. Mall is in the UK. Understand this. Here they have 2 or 3 acres of land. If they go to work in Ireland or London in their entire lifetime, they won't be able to buy even these 2 or 3 acres of land.
Unless they are able to buy it, or else I feel like this is a society that sees any son or daughter who has finished their degree as a liability. They are stuck within that mindset.
Anyway, if not,
Pushed him into some kind of market, then the parents feel absolutely no. Then within that, GK, what I feel is a very important thing is In Europe and in places like Ireland, this issue that has started, if you talk about it, it's the issue related to migration, the influx of refugees, people coming there both legally and illegally, and these countries accepting them. The problems that started back then are what we are facing now. When we enter a restaurant now, when we see people with dark skin tones, the locals there, white people, saints, travelers from there, when they see us, they turn away, or we get categorized as snatchers. They think we've come to snatch their bags. This is what they say. Most of the migrants are coming from places like Myanmar or Bangladesh,
From there, mostly.
but everybody is categorized as Indians. So people like us who go there, work decently, live respectfully, study in good colleges, and in some cities, the local economy itself is driven by students from our place who go there to study. In some cities, especially those that are education hubs, the economy is generated from the money spent by students from India who go there for their studies. So when they see us, we are always seen as second hand or as second class citizens or categorized in that way by our color, by our appearance, and by other such factors. Living in a society where we are classified like that, a situation where we have to live like that.
Yes. So many times, this is more of a problem for the family than for society. Comparison is a huge issue, isn't it? There's no point in saying we have such a good public transport system. But within the family, there's always a comparison. The child in the house next door and the child in this house, starting from LKG itself, one gets one more mark there, someone here gets 1 mark less. He went to Canada, and here, someone is just walking around with a stick. Why live then? That's what the film Vazatu is about. Show it.
It's a movie you should watch. And inside it, there's a scene where you buy medicine. It's there. Okay, that part is really highlighted in the film. I actually experienced that myself. So during the shoot of this movie, I caught a respiratory infection because of the cold. And since we didn't properly cover up with jackets, I ended up getting an infection. After that, I got a fever and then a cough. At that point, at every medical store I went to, the maximum they would give us was they would only give a minimal amount of cough syrup. So when I tried to see a doctor, if you want to see a general practitioner, you only get an appointment after a few weeks or sometimes even after a month. By then, in most cases, I felt that a decision would have already happened in my case. I have some friends who live in Ireland, so I took a flight from where I was and went to Ireland. All of them are either nurses or doctors. When I stayed at their house, they would give me steam inhalation and so on.
Isn't there a difference? It's less cold here, right?
Over there, it's actually colder than here. But since I was with them, they could treat me
Properly.
as ICU workers. They treated me at their house for a week and nursed me until I could return. After that illness, most decision about my situation came from London. That situation,
So now, for example, I live in a door. Within a radius of about 7 kilometers from my house, or within a radius of about 15 kilometers, there are 4 or 5 super great specialty hospitals. If I go there and I have money in hand, all the facilities are available to me. In the other countries I mentioned, I would face real difficulties just to see a doctor, getting treatment afterwards, and dealing with insurance challenges. All these hurdles would have to be overcome.
all these are matters related to social security there. That means a huge amount is deducted from your salary and your income for insurance. So this money, the government provides this insurance company and treatment is free for the company. But what's the point in saying treatment is free if we can't actually get the treatment?
Here.
The treatment process,
Isn't treatment free here too? Treatment is free here as well. In our government hospitals, treatment is free. But we fail by saying our government hospitals are not clean. We ourselves are the ones making it dirty. If you go to the Ernakulam government hospital, just look at the kind of facilities they have there. What amazing facilities they have. But when we look there, sometimes when I had to go there for something, I saw a wash basin and felt sad. I washed my face there in a way that wouldn't inconvenience anyone else. Socially, it's not about them, but all the facilities are there.
it's free, and everyone, whether in London or Europe, carries tissues with them and doesn't throw them outside. But as soon as people come here, their behavior changes. In that way, social awareness is a big issue. That is, it's not enough for us to be aware only of our own rights. For example, if we get a fever now and go to the hospital and don't get medicine, it's not just about posting on social media. As a citizen, we also have responsibilities to our state, our country, and our society. What I always notice is that when we talk about something as GK, I feel that after coming here, everything I have learned, everything I am still learning, I realize that in every class I attend, I am studying using a lot of people's tax and money. Everything is subsidized in our country. So the money my daughter spends in a year is probably what I have spent for my entire education. That means the government is giving us this as a subsidy. Otherwise, every laborer you see here, a part of the money they earn is being used for our development. Here, the government builds the facilities in the government schools, pays the teachers' salaries, and takes care of all such things. So, as I said, after studying here using this money, when we go abroad and then return, if someone asks us in an interview or anywhere else, nothing much happens there. When we come to Kerala, even if you don't have any other job, if you have some investment, people will still ask you about it. Most of all, the most negative thing is that our state is portrayed in a bad light, just like with the facilities there. And after people like me go there and come back, we say that nothing happens in Kerala. We have created such a trademark ourselves. Is it really a lack of opportunity here?
But there's another thing here. That is, as many people say, and as we've heard, if I work for an hour here and get paid a certain amount, if I do the same work somewhere outside, I'll get double that amount.
Me too. I was just a small part of it. Everyone here says that for 1 hour of work here, a daily wage laborer working 8 hours gets a salary of 1,100 rupees. If you calculate that 1,100 for 8 hours, just see how much it comes to per hour. If you go to Europe or America, you get $30 for 1 hour. But don't just compare that amount to our rupees here and think it's the same. The expenses there are according to that rate. There you have to pay 1.5 euros for a cup of tea, whereas here 10 rupees is enough for a cup of tea. The problem is that instead of understanding things properly, we have media here that drive us into a fantasy world, into a green pasture, and there are advertisements that encourage this.
Blogging.
There are blogs that talk about the relevance of our land, making you understand that all of this is here, this land is vast. If you want to go outside and study, you should go and study. Even if you go abroad and study, whether you study in America or in Europe, that doesn't define your greatness or your worth. Go there, see the world, and after experiencing the world, whatever good you find there, whatever positive things you learn, bring those back and implement them here in your own land. One thing is certain. Today, we are not able to communicate this through the media, and that is a major factor. All of this, our advertisement and everything else, gets relayed from there. All of them are making a significant contribution to this. This is, a matter that is being characterized, being shaped in a certain way.
There's a big advertisement saying that if you go to Germany, you can work and study for free. A student who went there has posted a video about the situation there. Does anyone in the world give anything for free? Especially in the Western world, maybe in India you might still get something, but in the Western world, does anyone give anything at all?
Right now, something is happening in the UK. Let me explain. In the UK, people take a loan from here, and now with $1,000 or so as pocket money in hand, once they go there, they work there. Then you can also study, you can pay the fees by working there, take that money and bring it here to pay off our loan. The idea is that you can pay the installment, and most people who go there now are going for that reason. But if you look at it, there are no jobs there, not even for the locals. So I always say I have a bar there, a restaurant bar. It's a pretty big setup. Many people who know me there have called me saying their son has just finished his degree and is looking for a stay. And there was a period like that. But till now, that boy hasn't gotten a job there. Somehow, just to get any job. So I said this so-called London is actually a city about the size of our Kerala. When we say we are in London, for example, my wife might be staying in Thiruvananthapuram and the person we're talking about might be in Kasaragod. So the facilities for you to come and work from there are never really available. And even if someone asks us for help today, we can't always provide it. But if it were in our own country, this would be different. This one, what do you call it?
There's another thing. Someone going to study in London is looking for a job, or someone coming to study in Ernakulam from Adoor or from Todupuja or from Chalakudi or wherever else. Someone, boy or girl, who comes here and stays in a hostel is not ready to study while looking for a part-time job here.
They should make it a part of their career. They should make it a part of their routine. For that, every day they should set aside 1 or 2 hours to do some work and learn. Only then will they understand the value of work. The value of the 100 or 150 rupees they earn this way is immense. When this money is just given by their father and mother, not only do they not understand its value, but what the parents are doing is actually the biggest mistake. Is it possible to dream of our country changing like this? Of course we can dream, but just dreaming is not enough. This needs to be corrected. Only then will it be enough.
Anyway, the main purpose of us making this video is this Akare Pacha is a great curse for our country. If there is still Akare Pacha, let it go. Let it be saved. Let them live well over there. So the Pacha we see in the media and elsewhere here does not exist there. To make viewers aware that that Pacha does not exist there, Benny Chetan, who runs businesses and other ventures here, was specially invited and spoken to in this episode. That's why we called him in this episode and had this conversation. I am also someone who went abroad to study. Only if we return to this land and broaden our perspective will our country truly grow. Through this episode, what we want to say is that we all need to realize that there is no other place with as much potential and future as this land of ours.
Thank you, GK. Hello, greetings.